this is Dr. Carl Myers, and I'd like to share with you a little bit of how I became interested in working with the individuals we do through developmental vision. Developmental vision is a different part of optometry that a lot of people have never really heard of, in the sense that we are not really working so much with glasses and contact lenses, although we use those in our practice, but more we are working with the development of the eye movements, the eye alignment, the focusing, and all the various aspects of visual performance. And many of those things are affecting performance in the classroom for kids. I became interested in doing this when I actually didn't think of doing it until I was in college, but when I was back in first grade, I was a very poor reader, and to the school's credit, they'd sent me down to the school nurse and they had me cover an eye, and I covered the other eye, and I read the eye chart, and they told me that everything was just fine, or told my parents everything was just fine. And then, because I was seeing 20/20, and back then I didn't even need these glasses, but then what happened is, over time, my parents just noticed that there had to be something else going on. So I ended up in the office of our family optometrist, who fortunately determined that I had a problem which could be fixed. It's called convergence insufficiency. Convergence is the act of turning the eyes inward, and of course insufficient, not enough. When I was trying to read, I was having a hard time keeping my eyes in. So what was happening is one eye would just keep drifting. That caused the print to kind of jump around on the page and that sort of thing. And back in those days, that's when we learned to read, was in first grade. And so I was a very poor reader. And once they determined what the problem really was, and I did some training through our eye doctor, I went from being a pretty poor reader to being a pretty decent reader in a fairly short period of time. And so later in college, I decided that this is what I needed to do, is dedicate part of my career to working with these kids that are having these same sorts of problems. And it's been a very rewarding process for me, in the sense that it's so fun to see these kids who come in not enjoying reading and hating school and so forth, and suddenly, once we get through the visual barriers that they have, they're doing so much better. So vision training has been a great way of getting these kids onto the main street again.